Hey friend, what's poppin'? Welcome! My name is Snea and today we're going to be talking about how to audition through self-tapes. This is a two-part series that I'm doing. This is part 2. First part is how to audition in person, and this is part 2, how to audition via a self-tape. I'm doing this because I want you guys to learn how to do self-tapes because in case you don't know, I'm an actor and also I've been a casting director before, and I've conducted auditions where I was requesting people to send self-tapes, and I saw a lot of flaws that caused people the role because they didn't know how to do a proper self-tape. So if you follow these instructions, you are going to change up your self-tape game. Trust me. But before we get into self-tapes, have you subscribed? Yeah, I'm looking at you. Did you subscribe? Subscribe. Subscribe. I'm not starting before you subscribe. Oh, it smells nice. Did you subscribe? Thank you. First things first, you need to read your instructions carefully. Every single audition is going to be different. There's going to be different instructions. There's going to be different things that they need from you, and there's a reason why they need that from you. It's not just instructions that they write for vibes. So read the instructions carefully, read the brief carefully, read every single thing they send you carefully so that you know that you're doing your audition appropriately, so that you're doing it properly, because failure to do it properly can result in like immediate dismissal. So just because you didn't do it a certain way or how they asked you to, they can just say, okay, no, we're not even gonna watch their performance. They didn't follow the instructions. That means they're not gonna follow instructions on set. That means they're not going to follow instructions after they got the role. So they're going to assume because you didn't follow instructions during the auditions, you're not going to follow the instructions when they give you the role, and then they're going to dismiss you. Next thing is to know the deadline. Know and make sure that you adhere to the deadline. Do not send your auditions afterwards. Don't even bother. It is very unprofessional. So know the deadline and make sure you stick to the deadline. There's a deadline for a reason. So when you're going to be shooting your tape, you need to make sure you are shooting it with a neutral background. I feel like a background like mine is not really the one. I don't use this for auditions. I only use it for YouTube. I have a white background in front of me. You can't really see it. But when I do auditions, I do my auditions with a neutral background and not something like this. It's because it avoids, distraction. If you have like a background that has like paintings and stuff on the wall and there's so much going on, the casting director might not focus on you. They might end up focusing on the background, and because they don't even remember your performance because they were not looking at it, they're like, there's nothing to see here. And if you don't have a neutral background, use like a sheet or a blanket or something gray or a nice like brownish, like nudish color, like something like that. Something like that, so that all the focus is on you and the casting director is only focused on you and your beautiful performance. You get me? Yes. Next thing is good lighting. They're not going to be able to cast you if they can't see you. So make sure you have good lighting. You don't have to have studio lights like I do. Right now I have 2 studio lights. One is here, one is here. They're all like, bringing this lighting, making me look gorgeous. Yes, you don't have to do all of this. You don't even have to have a ring light. You can just use natural light, as long as it doesn't have to be like the best of the best, as long as they can be able to see your face, as long as they can be able to see the emotions that you are trying to portray. So you can use natural lighting. You can do your audition during the day, open the curtains or go outside. Make sure that the lighting is nice and proper. It doesn't have to be fancy lighting, but I'd also advise, if you're going to be doing monologues, get like a nice ring light. A ring light is like 200 and something. It's a good investment. Most of them are pretty durable, so get a ring light for 200 and something. It's good for also when you don't have someone to hold the camera for you, the ring light is there. And if you are unable to do the audition during the day and you don't have anyone to hold the camera for you, you have your ring light, you do your auditions, and you get to go. Next thing is you need to do your audition in a quiet environment. You need to do your audition when it's super quiet. So make sure that wherever you're doing your audition, there isn't a lot of background noise, because they want to be able to hear you. They want to be able to hear what you sound like. What are you saying? If what you're saying makes sense. So it's gonna be pretty hard to hear you if there's like cars passing, or there's a baby crying in the background, or your neighbor's making a lot of noise. So if your neighbor brings out that big radio during the day, maybe try doing your auditions at night or later in the day, or somewhere else where it's kind of quiet, so that they can be able to hear you while you do your audition. We already kind of touched on this, but next thing is equipment. When it comes to doing self-tapes, they need to be able to see you, so you're gonna have to use a good quality camera. It doesn't have to be an iPhone 15 Pro Max. I promise you it doesn't have to be. It just has to be something that is clear enough for them to see you. So maybe you might want to think about upgrading your phone if you're using a phone that the camera quality is really, really bad. Like, I think, you know, something like I used to use a Samsung Galaxy A5, I think. Like, that was pretty good enough quality. So a Samsung is fine. I don't know how Mobicel is doing these days, but Mobicel, according to what I know, is not the best. So you can borrow a friend's phone, or, you know, it doesn't have to be an iPhone. It just has to, we just have to be able to see you. So you can even try, you don't really have to invest in like a big phone or a camera. Like, it's really not that deep. Like, it's really, really not that deep, trust me. But it has to be of good quality. Like, it has to be of a decent quality. And the next thing is sound. They need to be able to hear you. If your sound is very bad, like, one thing about also with, I think it's the human thing. Like, if the sound is bad, no matter how the visuals look, like, you're not going to be able to focus. Because I don't know what it is about sound, but like, when the sound is bad, like, it's like the camera, the visuals are also bad. Like, I don't understand how it works, but I feel the same way too. If the sound is bad, like, what's the point of me even watching this? Because I can't even hear this thing properly, and it's not going to make sense to me. So always make sure that whatever you're using, if it's just like your phone camera, the mic is working fine, you can get one of those small mics. I think that you can get one for as little as like 100 and something rand. Those small mics that you pin to your thing and you plug on your phone. Those work pretty good as well. They work just fine. So you just, as long as they're able to hear you, and you know, if in case you don't have anyone to hold your phone, because you need someone to be holding up your phone, you need a tripod. I suggest you just get a ring light, because it's going to work two jobs. It's going to hold your phone, and it's going to give you good lighting, because they also need to see you in this good lighting. Okay, lighting needs to be proper so that they can be able to see all your beautiful features, your cheekbones, your lips, your teeth, your eyes, your hair, everything. They need to be able to see you so that they can be able to cast you. Okay, next thing is one of the most important, one thing that I've seen as a casting director that people really, really, really flop when it comes to this one is framing. When it comes to framing, first things first, your video has to be in landscape mode. A landscape mode is this. You have to take it like this, not like you're doing a TikTok video, like you're doing a YouTube video, like you're watching a movie. So when you are shooting your video, always make sure it's in landscape mode. Make sure phone your roller. Make sure it's a medium close-up. A medium close-up is just about what you see right now. What you see, the framing on this YouTube video right now. This is proper for a self-tape, so that they can just see your head and a bit of your shoulders. Like, I feel like this is even a little too wide. Like, it should be like your shoulders. I'll put up a video of how I usually do my self-tape, so you can see how I frame mine. So it should be close enough for them to see your face, your eyes, and you know, just a little bit of your shoulders, you know, just medium close up, so that they can be able to see your face. Because the whole part of a self-tape is for them to see your face. They don't care about your outfit, they don't care about what shoes you're wearing, they just want to see your face. Sometimes, even if you can frame it like this, I don't think it will be a problem, because all they want to see is your face. The next thing you need to do is to practice. So now that you know everything about how to film the self-tape, now let's talk about the content within the self-tape. You need to practice your lines. Memorize your lines. Make sure you know your lines. Practice with a friend. Practice with your mentor. We talked about mentors in the first part. If you haven't watched the first part, this is the second part. The first part is how to audition in person. So go watch that directly after this. So practice in front of your mentor, or take a video, or do the same thing that you're going to do with a self-tape and then send it to them and ask for feedback. So you need to practice. Make sure you are performing. Make sure you do your best performance. So you need, in order for you to do that, you need to practice. You need to memorize your lines, and you need to memorize your emotions, how you're going to play with your face, you know, that beautiful face of yours. How are you going to play with it in order for that character to come alive? The next thing is a reader. You don't necessarily need a reader. I usually do without a reader. I think I've done one audition where I used a reader because I was really struggling to memorize the line, but it was a very quick thing. I was ambushed. So I was ambushed and the scene was a bit long, so I opted to use a reader for that. So if you want to use a reader, I don't really advise using a reader. I would rather do without a reader. So you just do your scene like it's a monologue. You just do your performance, and then you react to the other person's lines. So you basically, you say your lines, you think about that other person's lines as if they're saying them to you, and then you react according to what they're saying, and then you say your next line, and then you react to their line, and then you say their line. So you're doing it kind of like a monologue, but like the dialogue is happening within you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I usually advise against a reader because I feel like also when a reader is reading, usually they're very neutral, so it kind of brings you down a bit. So in order for you to stay in order for you to stay with your energy high, I prefer to do without a reader, and I do the reading myself in here. So that's why it is also important for you to not just only read your lines, read the other person's lines as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to know what the person is saying. You need to know why you're saying, oh my god, that's ridiculous. Why are you saying that line? Because the other person said something ridiculous. Exactly. So you need to be able to memorize those lines and your lines as well, so that you know how to play the scene if they say they don't want you to do with a reader, because part of the instructions might be that you do without a reader. Next thing is to record multiple takes. Don't do one take and be done with it. Don't do that. So do a couple of takes. Do it a certain way. Try to bring the energy down a bit. Bring it back up. Do it if you're going to be doing a scene where you are angry. Try to do the anger while you are quiet. You know, some people when they're angry, they're quiet. Some people when they're angry, they start shouting. Some people when they're angry, they cry. So like, try to play it in different ways. Try to play around with it and see. Maybe like the first one might not be, you feel like, okay, the first one is good, and then you try it a different way. You're like, the first one is good, but that one just, you get me? So do it multiple times. Like, you have all the time in the world. Like, that is the beauty of a self-tape. When it comes to in-person auditions, you have that one chance. Maybe they might let you do it a second time, maybe, but when it comes to a self-tape, you can do 100 takes. You can do it 200,000 different times. You can do it 200 different ways. You can play around with it however you like. So take your time. Don't rush to submit. Make sure that you have the gem of a performance first before you submit it. Try it in different ways. Try it in different languages. Try it in a different energy state. So do that first before you submit. Don't rush to submit. Take your time. Take your time and do the best you can. Enjoy doing that self-tape. Enjoy playing that character. Don't rush to submit, because rushing to submit, you might miss out on something, okay? Next thing is to slate. A lot of people don't really know what it means to slate. A lot of people think slate is action. No. To slate is the part of the video right before you start performing, where you introduce yourself. So it's different for different productions. Maybe another production might not tell you what you should put in your slate. Maybe they might tell you need to you need to make sure you have this and this and this and this and this in your slate. But for a normal average simple slate, what you need to do is say your name, your age, and the character that you're playing for. So if you just say, hi, my name is Snemakay, I'm 23 years old and I'll be auditioning for the role of Romeo, and then you show them your hands and your side profile, and then take a deep breath and perform. That's how you do your slate. And then at the end of the video, before you log off, you can just say thank you, and that's it. It is very important to slate. Make sure before any audition that you do, any self-tape you do, you must slate. Say your name, your age, and the character you are auditioning for. And one thing that is very, very important when it comes to doing a self-tape is do not edit your self-tape. I repeat, do not edit your self-tape. If you make a mistake, just keep going with it. If you feel like that's too much of a mistake, you can always start over. The beauty of a self-tape is you can always start over. You can shoot as many times as you want. You can make as many mistakes as you want. Oh, not want, but you can make as many mistakes as you want, and you can just start over. So between the slating and the performance, it's just a bit of a pause, and you just go on. So don't cut it, don't edit it, don't mash up two videos together. Just do the whole thing in one go, in one take. If you make a mistake, you can always just start over. So don't put music in the background, don't do action, don't put filters. Like, just make sure it's just one clean, solid audition tape from start to finish. It's one take. Do not edit it. Do not add sound effects. Do not add any music. Do not add anything. Just make sure it's nice and quiet and simple and straight to the point. They're not looking for your editing skills. They're not looking for a lot of things. They're just looking for you. They want to see you. They want to see your face. The same way it would be in an audition room, that there's no music in the background, or there's no filtering or editing or all of that, and your auditions in one take. They want it to be exactly like that. Another thing is to relax. You are literally in your own room. You are probably with a friend who's holding the camera and maybe reading for you or all of that. Relax. Calm down. You are not seeing the casting director's facial expressions in reactions to your performance. You are literally by yourself. Relax. Calm down. I feel like your self-tape should eat more than your in-person auditions, because you are literally just sitting there by yourself in front of a camera, and you can do whatever crazy thing that you usually do in the mirror. That performance that you do in the mirror, that Hollywood award-winning performance you do in the mirror, you should be producing that, because now you're alone in your room. So yeah, relax, be natural, but you should also kind of show your personality a bit, be natural, relax, take a deep breath, and enjoy the process. Some people don't even get to audition. Some people don't even know where and how to audition. You know where to audition. You know how to get auditions. You got an audition. Enjoy the process. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy the moment that you actually get to act and be a different person, be a different character. Enjoy that. Embrace it. It's also going to help you to act more authentically and up your chances of getting that character. And before you submit your audition tape, get feedback. Ask your mentor or a friend that you trust who can be honest with you, even though they're not like an actor or whatever. Like, they can probably still say, okay, no, this looks that. Okay, maybe try this. Maybe they can give you a bit of their 2 cents, but always have like a community of actors, around you, who can be honest with you and tell you, some technical stuff. Technical, not TV, but like technical, like eyeline. Specific mistakes that you're making. Something that you're doing wrong, something that you could be doing better, something that you can improve on. Get feedback from those people. Either it be a mentor, a friend, or a fellow or aspiring actor. Get feedback from them before you submit your audition tape. It's very good for you to have another person look at it before you submit it, because 2 heads are better than 1. They can help you improve your performance, and they could probably see something that you didn't see, a mistake that you made that you didn't see. So I recommend that you get feedback from someone before you actually submit it to the casting director or your agent. You can ask your agent for feedback before they submit. If you are submitting through an agent, you can say, hey, I did three different takes. Here are all three takes. What do you think? Which one is better? How do you want me to perform it? Do you think where do you think I should improve? Should I do another one, or is this one okay? So yeah, just try to do that. Have that conversation with your agent or someone that you trust before you submit it, because that could be a great way for you to improve. The last thing is to move on with your life. After you finish submitting your audition, move on with your life. Go find something else to do. Go find another role to audition for. Go back to acting classes. Do something else. Don't wait for them to respond. Don't be sitting and waiting for them to respond, because you never know how long it takes. Sometimes these things take long. Sometimes they could be auditioning in January for a character that's going to start shooting in June. So you might be sulking and sitting around for 6 months thinking, oh my god, I'm such a terrible actor, I didn't get that role, why did I do this to myself, I don't want to act anymore, this is so hard. But you got the role 6 months later and you didn't even know. So just move on with your life. Don't go bombarding them with questions. Did I get the role? What's gonna happen now? When are you gonna contact us? When am I gonna hear back from you? Just move on with your life. If you got the role, trust me, they will let you know. If you got the role, they will let you know. They will call you. Trust me, they will call you. Believe me, they're gonna call you. So yeah, if you got the role, they will call you. If you didn't, it's okay. There's still more roles coming. You're still gonna get another role and another one and another one. Trust me, these people are always shooting. There is soapies, movies, telenovelas, series being shot every single day. So there's always going to be another audition. There's always going to be another role waiting for you. And once your will aligns with God's will, there's nothing stopping you. Be patient. Don't attach yourself too much to a character. Don't attach yourself too much to a role or a production company or whatever. You just know that you did your best. You followed all the instructions that Snake gave you, and you did your best. If you didn't get the role, then it was just not God's timing, and the next role is going to be for you. The next one is coming. Yours is coming. God is going to fetch that role for you and slap it across your face, and nothing is going to stop it from happening. So yeah, be patient, and just always make sure that during the time when you are waiting for feedback, during the time when you are waiting for another role or another audition, or to hear from other people, or waiting to hear from a callback, you need to always make sure that you are progressing in your skills. You need to make sure that you're going to do training, you're practicing with other stuff, you're reading about acting, you are watching movies, you are learning from those movies that you're watching, you are learning from those books that you're reading. There's a lot of books that actors should be reading. Please let me know if you want me to do a video on books actors should be reading. Comment it below. So yeah, there's so many things you can be doing in the meantime while you are waiting for a role, in between roles. So always make sure that you are improving your talents. Always make sure that you are doing something that's going to make you do better, so that the next performance that you do or the next audition you do, you are doing better, and then the next one you're better, then the next one you're better. You're surely going to get a role if you keep improving on your craft. So always make sure that you are improving your craft. Always make sure that you never give up. You're always staying resilient, and you are never giving up. One thing about this industry, rejection is the name of the game. I've said this so many times and I will say it again. Rejection is the name of the game. So always make sure that you are prayed up, and you're making sure that you are aligning with God's will. You are improving your craft, and you always do your best. Always make sure that you prepare yourself before every audition, and that you do the most. And one day that role is going to find you, and you are going to become a superstar. Big superstar. You get me? Thank you. I'm sure by now you've subscribed, right? You didn't subscribe. But why are these tips not enough? You want like what, 10 more, 20 more? What do you want? Subscribe. Please subscribe and share with your friends who may or may not want to act, or know some tips and tricks on how to audition, just in case they decide one day that they want to be actors, or just in case they bump into like a casting call one day. Yeah, me. Exactly. So yeah, what's on? Subscribe, like, comment that I look pretty today. Thank you for watching.